Okay, so we have Pele over here, and I will not talk too much about the statistics and all. You all know very well. Um, I mean, he's definitely considered one of the greatest footballers of all times. I mean, and a lot of people really love the game when when they see Pele. Whatever we have not seen him live, we've only seen the recordings and all that, but we love those action that we see on that. And see, he's known for his electrifying play and penchant for spectacular goals. We'll try and see if we can understand that through the horoscope. Okay.
Mhm.
But he was the youngest player to win World Cup at the age of 17, and he has won three World Cups. I mean, he was part of the team in three World Cups. And this 70 team was considered one of the best World Cup team of all times, this 1970 team.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So here we have Simha Lagna, Leo Lagna with Venus. And I'll straight away try to focus on the yogas. What are the main yogas that I can see over here? I find a Mars Rahu over here, interestingly in Virgo sign. Already we are interested, right? Okay. Then we have a Saturn Jupiter. Okay. And this is a kind of Raj Yoga because this is the Lord of a Kona, Jupiter, and Lord of a Kendra, Saturn, together. The Saturn is in debility. Having said that, the Saturn is getting Nicha Bhanga by Venus in Kendra over here. Okay. So definitely that is there. And interestingly, so I've not mentioned the Raj Yoga here for some reason, but that is the main, that is a very important Raj Yoga. Same like in the case of Braddock, we have the Lord of this being Mars. And then Mars is in with Rahu in another yoga, which is a Dhana yoga over here. Yeah. And as I said, that the Lord of this is Mars with Rahu, and this is a ninth Lord. Okay, joined the second
Seven.
house. This is a kind of a Dhana yoga because two of the Dhana bhavas are linked to each other. So this
Mhm.
is a Raj yoga and linking to a lot of Dhanas also. And one interesting thing also is that Sun, which is the Lord of the Lagna, okay, and it is also the Lord of the day of his birth, is having a yoga with these planets. So this is also important in the direction in which a yoga is. So that makes this yoga very important. Okay.
And Sun, what do you mean? Which yogas does it support? Sun?
The fact that Sun is having a yoga because they are seventh house to each other, they are aspecting each other.
Okay, okay, I see.
Sun is
Which
aspecting
role?
these
Seven.
planets,
Mhm.
and Sun being the Lagna Lord and the weekday Lord is
Mhm.
also supporting this
And
yoga.
Sun Venus Parivartana as well.
Sun Venus Parivartana is actually also enhancing this thing. There is a kind of yoga, I can't talk really much about it, but they are sort of jumping over this sign in between, Virgo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that also is enhancing this Virgo. They are strengthening Virgo by their movement. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned it over here actually, the sixth Lord Yoga of Saturn. So this Saturn is the sixth Lord. So we have the sixth house association also coming over here, right? So already we are seeing there's an important Raj Yoga that is connecting to Mars. Mars is with Rahu, and there is sixth Lord involved over here as well. So Mars, in fact, Mars is having a yoga with Saturn also. This is a proper yoga. Saturn is in Mars's sign. Mars is aspecting Saturn. This is a proper yoga between Mars and Saturn. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this Dana Yoga and this Raj Yoga are very intimately connected, and this Saturn happens to be the sixth Lord. Yeah. Mars and Rahu are in a Graha Yuddha in which Mars is winning by slight margin, but Mars is winning. And it's important because Mars is the Yoga Karaka. This is Simha Lagna, Leo Lagna. Mars is the Yoga Karaka. We want Mars winning in this, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Rahu is Lord of the seventh house, right? Being Aquarius, right? And that's why he had his challenges in his married life. He was married several times, divorced several times, and all that. So the entire that explains. So obviously the career flourished, but married life and personal life was not that great.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you look at the Navamsha, it is very, very clear. I mean, you have Virgo Lagna, 10th house is having Mars, Mercury, and Rahu in a sign of Mercury. So how much more clear you get. And this Saturn, which is giving the Raj Yoga, is in the sign of Virgo. It is aspecting this Mars also. So very, very clear.
Mhm. I think you just prepared the bull's eye examples.
The Ardha Lagna happens to be in Sagittarius, and Mars and Rahu are having Rashi Drishti on it. In fact, Mars, Rahu, and Ketu, these are the only planets having Drishti on it. The Lord Jupiter is involved in this Raj Yoga, so which is linking to sports. And this, by the way, in Navamsha, your Lagna and Atmakaraka are together. So this happens to be, Atmakaraka as well as Karakamsha both together, Lagna together. So the 10th house from them is both the same. So, that's why this sign of Gemini is all the more prominent. It's 10th from
Mhm.
both of these. And the other dictum which I've said earlier about third house from the Karakamsha having malefic influence, here it is Scorpio sign, it is having Sun. Lord is Mars with Rahu. So there's a lot of
Mhm.
malefic.
Enough malefics and sun over there. And Rahu Ketu are exalted as well over here.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Rahu Ketu exalted, and that indicates the high level of success and money and all that he'll get. And see, the 10th Lord is Venus, which is giving him Siddhi, being in the Lagna. Okay. And this Venus is, in a way, because of this Sun Venus Parivartana, there is linkage to Mercury. And as said, there is a link to this Virgo sign also because it is crossing over it. Okay.
Mhm.
And that is, as per me, there is this term called beautiful game that is used to describe the kind of game they played. It was not about pulling and pushing and all that. It was about dribbling past in a nuanced manner, all the tricks and trades of using your feet in a different manner, right? So it appears like as if it's a flow of things, rather than
Mm.
just brute kind of force which is used in other games, right? So that is, I don't think today's football is like that. The way they used to play in a very, very, it's like an art form rather. So
Mhm.
that
And
is
you said that 10th Lord Venus in the Lagna is Sthiti? I didn't hear you well.
Siddhi. Siddhi in the sense, Siddhi means accomplishment. You have accomplished
Достижение. Mhm.
that. You have perfected it. It's a
Mhm.
perfection yoga. Okay.
Mhm.
So it's really beautiful, and that is this Venus. It's very beautiful for the eyes when we look at it,
Beautiful
right?
perfection, yeah.
But really speaking, I mean, I would be wrong to say that the beautiful game is only because of the 10th Lord Venus in the Lagna in Rashi chart. Because really speaking, we see these things in the Dashamsha, the approach to the game and
Mhm.
all that. Let's look at the Dashamsha. So in Dashamsha, you have this 10th house very, very heavily strong. Okay. And you have all these key planets, Mars and Rahu together, Jupiter, Moon, I won't say Gajakeshari over here because Jupiter is not in a sign of a friend, but then it becomes so because of this Venus and Jupiter Parivartana, right? Suddenly Jupiter is very strong, and so this gives him great fame. And then Lagna, Lord of the Shamsha Saturn, is also over here, right? So it all indicates one singular focus in the life, and this 10th house is the work focus that is there, right? So I think in this Pele's case, we have seen the same principles which we have seen in the previous cases. That there's an important career yoga, and that's linking to Mercury and Mars or Rahu in some form or the other in a very clear way, right? And that comes to give the career in sports.
Mhm. Can I ask here, Mercury as the Graha in seventh house gives the link because it's not directly connected here in the
As I
D10.
said, you don't need Mercury and Rahu and Virgo, all three to be linked. At least
Mm-hmm.
one of them should be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here, Rahu is giving that link. Both in, you can see in the case of the Rashi chart, where Mars and Rahu are together, right?
Yeah, yeah.
In the Navamsha chart,
In
also Mars and Rahu are together. Obviously, they are in a Graha Yuddha, and in Dashamsha also they are together, right?
Mhm.
So it is the Mars and Rahu conjunction which is
Mhm.
giving the sports career over here. So Mars has to be involved with one of these three things, either Rahu
Mhm.
or
Okay.
Mercury. Anyway, if it's in Virgo, it's automatically linked to both Mercury and Rahu. And one more clarification I want to give is where we require the real connection of Mars and Mercury or Rahu or slash Virgo is in the Rashi chart. Okay. But as you see it happening in both Navamsha and Dashamsha and all that, as I gave the example at the beginning, like the drop of red sand, you keep dropping more and more, it becomes a heap like that. So it is more and more factors coming together, indicating one thing, right? So here you have Mars and Rahu and connected in across three charts. You don't really need it, honestly speaking. Just Rashi chart is enough, or maybe even Rashi and Navamsha is enough. But you find that in Dashamsha as well. You found in the case of Braddock of Mars and Mercury together in the Dashamsha, by the way. Not that it is really required in Dashamsha as far as I'm concerned. But if it is there, it is definitely a very strong point.
So mainly it's the D1, the first one that
D1 is important because if
important.
D1 is not there, it's not going to manifest. If it is
Yeah.
there in if it is not there in D1, but in say D9 and D10, I mean, I can't really say. All the cases which I've seen definitely it happening in
Mhm.
D1, right? And to some or greater extent happening in D9 and D10 as also.
Okay,
D9
so
also has to show some importance of the Virgo or Mercury or Rahu related to the 10th house. Okay, in some way, either from Lagna or from Karakamsha, or both, in fact. If it is happening from both, that's where you see this very successful people. In the Dashamsha, the houses 2, 6, and 10 are important specifically because this is the Artha Trikona. Okay, so it's about wealth and where you're going to get your income from. Okay, so here you're definitely having the 10th house, having the Mars and Rahu very, very clearly. Okay. That is, and I mean, in general, I'll definitely see the 10th house across all the charts of these people because they are very prominent people and they are very successful carriers, right? The 10,000 Dashansha is something I'll see, but I'll also have a look at the Artha Trikona in general, like 2, 6, and 10. Okay. So here the
Maybe,
second house is co-lorded by Rahu. The sixth house is co-lorded, is lorded by Mercury also, right?
yeah.
Okay, this is, by the way, I mean, just if those who want to be very, very sure about it, there is some confusion whether Pele was born on 21st October or 23rd October. In fact, because Pele himself says he was born on 23rd October, but this is his birth certificate and it is very clearly saying 21st October. Okay. Pele was his nickname, actually, his given name was Edison or Edison.
Let me just the quick question about the Pele chart. There is a question. Saturn, Shani, and Guru are in where's Pele? In the ninth house here, and they form as well Raja Yoga. They give as well Viparita Raja Yoga, sixth and eighth lord together. Does it mean that his path to success, to Raja, is through obstacles?
It can also mean that someone's loss is his gain. Okay, like for example, typically it happens in team sports and all. Someone gets injured and you get a chance. Okay, be that. I really don't know that
Mhm.
in depth about his history to comment on that, but could be that.
If I remember the movie about Pele, there was
Mhm.
something like in childhood he lost his friend, and then they were running streets playing games, and somehow his friend died in the accident, and then he got called in the football and the soccer and played. Maybe there is something like this. Through the
Yeah,
loss, he gets his gains.
yeah. Viparita indicates that either you face or someone faces
Yeah,
some reversal in
some loss.
fortunes. That gives you your gain. So.